At what exact point then should one resist? When one's belt is taken away? When one is ordered to face into a corner? When one crosses the threshold of one's home? An arrest consists of a series of incidental irrelevancies, of a multitude of things that do not matter. And there seems no point in arguing about any of them individually, especially at a time when the thoughts of the person arrested are wrapped tightly about the big question: what for? And yet, all these incidental irrelevancies taken together implacably constitute the arrest. The Gulag Archipelago, page 13, Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of war, traders of great renown, I, the Strategic Indian, bid you welcome to my channel, where our motto is think, practice thinking. If you like the content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, which will greatly help with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Wars are expensive. Total wars are totally expensive. Therefore, if you would like to, then you can support my armies and cities via coffee or directly through PayPal. Links are in the description below. Other than a one-time donation, those entering the monthly membership tiers can have my Heaven Shaker armies named after themselves and watch with pride as they blaze their way to glory. For the city builder in you, whole cities can be named after you, which will last the test of time herself. Thanks in advance for any and all support. Now, on with the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are going to continue with our playthrough of Advanced Banished with advanced tips. This is being played on very hard mode as well as hard difficulty with all the different possible calamities unlocked, so there is a chance that the entire gameplay can be stopped by an unfortunate accident. We will try to take the best possible precautions that we can, however there are of course no guarantees. So let's have a look around. We have got the first gatherers, the first forester hub has been completed. So we had a close shave last time. However, we are going to get a lot of precautions in place so that we don't fall into such traps ever again, hopefully. And let's hope the gameplay just doesn't stop because a hurricane came through, which we have absolutely nothing to protect against. Other calamities, for example fire, we can still protect against minimally. However, something big is of course troublesome. So as you can see, the way the Forester Hub works is that you have this Forester Lodge, which allows you to plant trees. With here you can see these small trees, these are being planted and they are growing up, while this forester is also going to go and pick up rocks as well as other pieces of stone, etc. Since we have a lot of greenery in this, a lot of trees growing, we'll be able to collect a lot of food using the gatherer's hut. So let's see what we collected last time. We collected 5, 600, 400, so 1000, and say 2000-ish food, which is appropriate. A gatherer late game will do 2000 food gathering, and that's what we are getting. We have also put in a hunter's cabin right here, and last time it could get a single hunt done. We have only put in one hunter, and I will explain later why there is one hunter. Naturally, there are houses right next to the buildings, the production buildings, and we have storage right here, which is beginning to fill up. So as soon as we are able to collect a little bit more wood, which our forester will be doing, we will be able to open up construction for another storage barn, the footprint of which I have already put. Last time we went ahead and made a school. So school is school, and 2 people are currently in the school, and 1 person has graduated. The second person has also graduated right while we were looking at it. That's amazing. So we have got another laborer. So let's see. I have got an extra laborer, so let me just put that into the forester because I do need the wood coming in quicker. We are also going to chop down trees ourselves because at this early stage getting enough wood with just the forester hub is not going to be enough. And the reason I keep an extra laborer is that in case the guy who is the school teacher, who is right here, Bessie, if Bessie croaks, then we will have everybody who is in the school currently is going to immediately graduate uneducated. So they shall not learn that communism is bad. So yeah, we don't want that. We want everybody to know that yeah, communism is bad. And let's check who graduated. So Ardeen graduated and become a laborer. So let's see where Ardeen is. So that is this house. And we can look at which house here she is in. Okay, let me cross that out. Let's cross off all the houses. There we go. So we have Emmy and Khalistan over here. Emmy is of course still a student, continuing his education. And we have in this other house, we have Galantis, we have Daraya, and we have a student of 10. So she has just become a student. So Emma Neal is a student. So she is going to school right from here to here. So that's a small walk distance. We have Messica Simond cooped up with Ternell, a student, another student. Dentonia, whose story we talked about last time. And we have their children, which are not even school-going age because they're 6 and 1 years each. And in this house, we have got 3 people with 1 laborer. So that's a female laborer, and we have got a female laborer. Let's see if we have a... Yes, we have Ternell, who is 10 years old. So these 2 guys can pair up. So let's open up this particular house for being built up. So we have got another person who has started working as a laborer. So go and be a forester. We want lots of foresters. And I'm also giving some order for some trees to get cut down from over here, because that's a bit farther away. And that is what we want, because we are going to be able to not cut. We don't want trees to be cut down from within this sphere of the circle, which is the limit of the forester lodge. We want them to go and cut trees from outside of this. So that's what we're going to go out and do. We're running the game at speed 5. We have not yet built the blacksmith, so we are going to run out of tools for a sweet hot second, but we shall manage. I don't like that we are out of tools so early, but there is nothing to be done about it. We didn't have enough wood. The rest of the things we do have. However, getting this house up is a priority for me, and as soon as that house will be built, I am going to give the order for a blacksmith to be built. Now, blacksmith I don't build on the market, right on top of the market. So here we have the market. We don't build it over here. I'm going to build it right to the side of it, right there. So we will leave one gap right there, and we shall have the blacksmith lying perpendicular to the market, because the reason for that is the goods that the blacksmith needs is so once it picks up the items that it needs, that's wood and iron, it does take a little bit of time to process that and make tools, and the turnaround time is not that high, it's not that low. So they do require a lot of time before they can go ahead and require more materials. But the woodcutter, you will notice, will constantly require material in terms of wood, and it's going to go and make firewood and then drop that firewood off. So that's why firewood chopping and later taverns, we are going to build them on the market right there. So they are going to be getting built on top of the market so that the walk distances are further minimized. I don't need that in case of the blacksmith, and of course this particular woodcutter is going to be moved at a later stage. We don't need it to be near the market at this early stage, but later what we are going to do is move all of these woodcutters closer and closer to markets which we are going to build up. We are going to build up markets, consolidate, and then move. That's how we are going to travel across and build up the entire strategic city. We have the next house being prepared, so let me put that one up. We expect Ardeen to move in with Ternel, or with, no, Imanel is a woman and Ardeen is a woman, so two women cannot coop up in a shack. This is unfortunate, let's just put it that way. So we do require male and female connection combinations to go and move inside the houses. House is getting constructed pretty well, and I'm also collecting up the wood, and once I will have 32 wood, then I'm going to give the order for the blacksmith to be built. I prefer to have all of the building material gathered up, and then we go ahead and quickly build up the building. So let's see, this house is up. We don't require the builder, so I'm going to put it back to a laborer. There we go. Ternel and Ardeen have moved in to the new house, and now they shall be able to go ahead, make children for the future of this anti-communist society. We are down to 21 logs. We had 30 a little while ago, and that is because the wood chopper is just going crazy. We are keeping all of the limits down to 200 or 100. So I don't like this 50 cloth thing. So I put it to 100. 100 tools. 2 people are out of tools. Can't be helped at this early stage. In some cases, I do get this build. But in this particular case, I didn't have as many trees. So you see, I have a big gap of the starting patch where I started. The trees were not very thick. So I didn't have enough trees to go ahead. And initially, once you begin the colony, you can cut down a gigantic amount of trees. And then you can quickly build up the blacksmith so that you never go into a deficit in terms of tools. And that is also a little bit worrisome because our storage barn is getting filled up. We have enough materials for the blacksmith. So let's see when they are going to build the blacksmith up in their own sweet time. I'm going to remove that house because that house has got a perfect pairing of male and female, and that is exactly how we planned it, and that's what we got. So the next candidates are Emmanuel, who's a female, along with Drakim, who's male, 8 years currently. So probably when Emmanuel is going to graduate, she is going to get married to Drakim over here. And they are not making. Finally somebody is coming down to the laborer is coming down to chop down the trees. It's going to take us a little while, but very soon we will very quickly build up the tools that we need. I'm going to put up a bit of high priority to for that to happen. That's why I keep a laborer for doing these menial tasks, as well as making sure that in case the teacher, if he or she dies, we have somebody to immediately take his or her place. In Banished, the most important thing is to have the housing close to the work area with appropriate storage nearby. That's the game. So let's count. The number of people required by this forester lodge, the maximum number is 4. 2 adults can go in one house. So I need 2 houses to supply labor to this forester lodge. Therefore, I have these 2 houses over here and here for my forester's lodge. Hunting cayman will have only 1 person. Herbalist will have 1 person. So that's another house. That's my 3rd house. And we have got the gatherer, which are 4. That requires 2 more houses. That's over here and over here. So that accounts for these 5 houses. And the 6th house is 1 for the woodcutter and 2 for the school teacher. So these 6 houses are going to take care of all the requirements of the first forester hub and the requirement for wood cutting, so making firewood, and for our teachers, or teacher rather, singular. So we are, everybody's moving in to go ahead and pitching in to help build the blacksmith. Things are going a bit slow. So later I'm going to start building the 2nd quadrant, which is available over here. Probably today we will start building that, where the Rakim gets his house. And we are going to also have to build houses so that the blacksmith as well as the tailor, which I'm going to build over here, they have got their appropriate labor. Meanwhile, we are going to continue to build up our amount of hides. So that is being done by this hunting cayman guy. So last time he got 12 leather, so that's great. That's great. He probably hunted 2 deer. So here you can see these deers come into your colony, and then they are killed by the hunter who goes around and hunts them. I'll go into the mechanics of exactly how the hunter works in later episodes. We talked about how the forester person works in the previous episode. So let's remove the hunter. So the way the forester goes is that he or she is going to go from her house to her forester's lodge, pick up the tools that they need, and then they are going to walk around in a circle, gradually poking the ground, planting new trees, and they shall look for older trees which are going to get cut down by them. You will also notice that there are certain trees which in the map, while we are not even in the area, are falling over. That is older trees dying off. So this is a living map. So for example, we had cut off a tree over here, and this is a tree which is coming up. So the map actually regenerates even without your intervention. That is something I really enjoy. And we have got the faster accelerated amount of regeneration when you put in the forester's lodge. So additional trees are going to come up. So here you can see that there are more trees coming up, and that is going to allow a larger amount of food to be collected. Also, the forester is going to pick up stones and iron which is lying on the floor. So as you can see, it has collected 14 iron from walking around and picking up this free iron on the ground. This blacksmith is really taking forever. So what I'm going to do is, given the amount of food that I actually have, I'm going to reduce the number of gatherers, and I'm going to increase the number of foresters to 4. So we still don't need to build any new houses. But we have got one extra laborer which is going to help do the job, and I'm going to make one of them into a builder so that they can start construction as soon as the building materials are placed. This actually takes quite a lot of building materials to be placed, and I think this is a very expensive building early game, especially in hard mode where you start with only 20 tools. When you play at the easy mode or the very easy mode, then you have way more amount of tools and clothes and things. Like you can see right now, we have run out of clothes, we've run out of tools. Clothes are not that much of an issue, but tools definitely are. You work half as fast without tools, and of course you produce quite a lesser number of finished goods. Unless of course you are educated, then you produce the same number of finished goods, but you produce them slowly, and that for me is basically a cut down of production. So while you're producing the same amount, you are producing them slower, and in my books that is essentially producing lesser number of goods. They have to make quite a lot of trips. As you can see, they're going back and forth. And in this game, you cannot zoom into the head of one of them, which you can do in, say, Dawn of Man. Here you can see that they're bringing in the iron, which is the last thing that they need to bring in. They're bringing in 4 iron. I've seen them carry 6 stone, so I don't know if 4 iron is the max that they can carry. Yeah, they're carrying 4 consistently. I don't know if they can carry more stone than iron, which makes no sense. I think both of them should be more or less the same. Yeah. School is continuing. We have now filled up our quota of 200 chopped firewood. So that's why you get this little icon showing that yes, it has gotten its full quota. I am going to leave it at 200 for the moment. We don't need more because we don't have trading posts yet. Once we hit trading posts, we are going to go ahead and build up our firewood. And the reason I'm not going to increase the limit at this stage is because I want this woodcutter to transition into a laborer, because he or she does not have any wood to be cut or chopped because all of it is down, and therefore he is going to go ahead and function as a laborer, although its work is still given as a woodcutter. They are going to transition from one job to the next. I clicked off a few buttons. Let me just pull them up again. Yeah, sorry about that. And here we go. We have this builder without a tool constructing a whole building with his bare hands. It's a real John Rambo right here. And he is just driving the nails with his bare hands into the concrete. And we have Ore, who is going back to eat. We have a little bit of lower health across the colony. We have got 4 hearts out of 5 hearts, which is not much of a big deal. That's not much of a big deal. So I'm not worried about the fact that we have we don't have the herbalist working. So right now we have got another worker who actually has a tool, and she is going to be working much faster. Ardeen is a builder currently, and then this building is going up very well. Both of them are hammering and nailing, and one of them is doing it with their bare hands, and the other person has got a hammer because the flesh is weak but steel is strong. But as we know from that fantastic movie of Conan the Barbarian, that steel is not strong, flesh is strong, boy. So building is going up in good speed, and very soon we are going to have this completely built up, which is going to allow us to fill in this deficit of tools. We are really at the range of 4 people not having tools, which is quite a lot in my opinion. And beautiful sounds of construction and of productive labor going up all the way through the roof. Through the roof, yeah. You know, sometimes you make puns and then you don't even realize that you've made puns. And there we have it. Production is through the roof.
No! God!
Housing production is through the roof.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
While this gets built, and it's going to get built painfully slowly because, yeah, we have people without tools. So let's check our houses one more time. Emma Neal is 14, still a student. And we have, there we go. We are now going to put in 1 blacksmith and 1 laborer. We don't need any more builders. We also have F.E. French, who's also 11, who can move in with a manual. Because, so let's see, we are going to have a little bit of a competition, maybe a fight, a duel to the death between Zakim and a French. Let's see who comes out on top. Now, let's go in to the blacksmith. Blacksmith has got 4 iron stored in it. So it can't produce any tools because it will also require logs to produce the tools. So there we go. We have got Ore, who is now a blacksmith, coming in with a beautiful amount of log, a little bit of log he's carrying, and he's coming under the trees and coming to the blacksmith right there, depositing, and we have got 4 iron and 9 logs that he brought in, so he can carry 9 logs. Why were you carrying 4 iron in the past? Why couldn't you carry more? So every one of your banished toons, they do work by banging this whatever tool they're carrying, and that is the amount of work they do. So there is actually a chart which I don't have in front of me right now. However, work is defined by the number of times they bang their tool and walk around. So the walking around is also part of work. There, you see, he used up 1 iron. From 4 we went down to 3 and produced 2 tools, because this gentleman over here, Ore, is educated. So educated blacksmiths produce 2 tools for every iron and log that they consume, whereas uneducated guys are going to just produce 1. So that is why you want to educate your people, educate everybody. We want to have this colony where everybody is educated, even very, very late game. I am going to throw up university districts where mass education is going to happen, and that is all late game. We can only imagine how that is going to be, but that is for far later. Here we can see they are just dropping all of these tools onto the floor, and we have to essentially wait for them to come and pick up these tools, and then the number of people equipped without tools are going to go down. Let's bump it up to speed 10 because we have really nothing to do at this early stage of the game. Let us check on the age of Emma Neal. Emma Neal is 15, so almost ready to graduate. So I'm going to open up 1 more house to get built. And now you can see we have plenty of wood, plenty of log, plenty of everything. So this building should not take too long to go up. And I am going to now also put down a tailor perpendicular to my blacksmith, and that is not going to be built now, so I'm going to just stop the construction, and I'm going to actually measure if these are going to get placed in the right way. So what I do is I put in 2 woodcutters back to back, and then you can see, so let's go over it again. Here you see I still have another space which we can utilize. So I am going to move the blacksmith one tile north so that we can have beautiful symmetrical grids built up. I really love symmetry, and I am going to use this particular thing, this woodcutter, as the measuring block. So there goes our tailor, and we are going to remove these other two, and we are also going to pause the tailor. And this is winter, so some people who were actually doing other things like food collection, they can now go ahead. You collect less food. Well, in winter, for example, if you are a farmer, then you transition into a laborer. So you don't have to manually change that. The game does it itself. So whoever were farmers actually become laborers, which go ahead and then collect all of the things what they pick up on tasks which laborers do. For example, picking up crops, cutting down trees, cutting down all of the surface iron and stone. They are able to transition between jobs. We have a really frightening amount of wood being brought in very, very quickly, and that is all thanks to this production chain that we have set up, where we have very efficiently put houses right next to the production along with storage. In case of wood, it's going to be stockpiles, which is 56% full, nothing to be worried about at this early stage. And here we have the makings of the second quadrant is going to begin. As you can see, everybody has got tools now, so we don't have the tool shortage. We even have a tool surplus of 8 tools because we're going to build it up very, very quickly. We should collect some surface stone, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Never give them crazy amounts of jobs, because then they don't do it. And while there is no workload dependency like you have in Dawn of Man, however, having too many jobs is not good, because they are not going to do them. And if those jobs are very far away, they will try to do them, get lost in the very far away, and that is something that is not good. So here we can see the wooden house has its footprint built in. I'm not going to assign any workers or builders to it because I don't have anybody to move into these houses. Housing will be only made available as soon as a pair of people are ready to move in. Else what you would have is that this happy couple is going to break up and move to that house, and then they will not be able to produce the children that they need to produce by being inside this house. You really want to have 2 people, adults, male and female, ready to move in to the next house, and that's only when you build up the next house. There is a lot of debate on how many housing you should build up. And if you want to build it in a completely self-sustaining way, which we are not going to do because we are greedy capitalist min-maxer. That is, if you're new to the channel and you don't know about it, I love gold and I love min-maxing. These precious pixel of food, that gives me a lot of joy. So I am also keeping an eye out that I do notice that I have an overabundance of wood which I can't eat, but my food is actually falling. So I'm going to move my gatherers back up to 4 so that I never get into a situation where I can get into starvation. Of course, that's not going to happen, but given the scare that I had with almost running out of firewood in the previous episode and everybody almost freezing to death, I am going to make sure that that I don't get into trouble. To give them some additional priority of cutting down the surface stone. They always take time. And that is because everybody is busy. Everybody is busy, Miss Lizzie. Turnell has become an adult. So where is Turnell? So Turnell becoming an adult does not require us to go ahead and making a new house, because there is already a pair of Ardeen and Turnell, and Turnell wasn't a fully working laborer. So that is what she has become right now. So I don't need to build a house. We need to do that for Emmanuel, who is going to become a student very soon, a laborer very soon. But I'm going to only build the house once once I get that actual notification, and not before, because then one of these houses which are completely paired up are going to get broken up, and we are not in the business of breaking families, just like the Soviet NKVD, like this cruel communist system. We are against that. We are for building families. We are for building happiness and giving happiness to our tools. 48 stones are required for the tailor to go up. I want to have very high standards of living, so I want to give them these beautiful hide coats, and we have 24 hides stored because the hunter is one cruel guy who's going ahead and killing all of these deer, and we are going to be able to convert that into a hide coat. Once, there we go, Emmanuel has become an adult and is working as a laborer. So let's open up this new house. Let's open up the new house, he said, and then put up 2 builders to quickly build them Emmanuel a house. There we go, they're already there. We can hear the sawing even though we cannot see them because they are hidden behind these trees. Now the game is going to be that this is going to be a bit of a waiting game at this stage, because we are only going to move into the second quadrant in this episode. I don't think we will have enough people to start food production or wood production. That's for later. However, what we want to do, the game plan is going to be, we are going to build up 4 forester hubs. That is going to give us a gigantic amount of wood, like a crazy amount of wood. And then we are going to go ahead. There we go. Drakim wins the fight to the death against Ifrench. Ifrench lost, and he is completely ashamed of himself now. And he is going to be the next candidate for the house. Male Ifrench is going to get some female partner, probably Martini, who's 9 currently. This Zavi is a male, no go. Florentine is 8, so that's the other person is older, and this is fine. Yeah, so those 2 are going to pair up, but we can build that house much later. And let's see what job did she get. She got a job of a builder, which is great because she can be going from here to here and build up this tailor. Let's build up another tailor shop. At this point we have got enough wood and stone to build up a storage hut, which is all the way over here, because our current storage hut is going to get filled up. Yeah, it's 80% full almost. So let me build up this tailor, and then I am going to go ahead and start making some hide tools. Then I'm going to ask them to make this extra storage, and then it is going to be us building additional houses for E-French for when E-French becomes a laborer and finishes school with full contingent of education, high quality, top quality, paid education, no free education because that's no good. This is all private, and they're going to play with their labor. They're going to pay with their labor. So our tailor is getting its full complement of stone. Let's go ahead and put in extra, the last bit of iron that it needs. The tailor is much less expensive than the blacksmith, and that is actually quite bad. I hope they would be the same cost. Although it makes sense for the blacksmith to need more iron because you need to build the anvil, you need to build the tools, etc. Whereas for a tailor you would just need needles, etc., which requires a lot less iron. There we go. Footprint is down. We have 2 workers already assigned. 1 laborer is on standby in case the teacher croaks. Now, I'm going to do something pretty. Who says that min-maxers cannot have a heart and cannot have an eye for beauty? I have an eye for a lot of beauty, and I'm going to build a 7x7 cemetery, which is going to face towards the market, and it is going to be in line between the two hubs. Now, the people who are banished, they have a fascination with the dead. And that's not me role-playing the story. They really have a fascination for the dead. So as soon as the cemetery is going to be built, there we go. Tailor is up, so let's reduce one builder, put in a tailor who's going to make hide coats, leather, in their own sweet time, which we are also going to go ahead and see, but for later. So your banished exiles, they like to unwind by visiting graveyards. They love it. They can't have enough of it. And they love to hang around wells. So I'm going to build a well. Let's build it a little back on the side of the graveyard, because they hang out near the graveyards anyway, so might as well build it next to the graveyard so that they can come have a look at the graveyard even if it's empty, and then go ahead and look at the nice well, drink some water from the well. So we have stored 10 leather, and we should get 2 hide coats from every piece of leather, because everybody is educated. We have 100% education, and we are going to watch when the laborer goes, when the tailor goes and starts making leather hide. Oh, there they are. There they are. Words are difficult. Words are difficult. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Hide coats. Hide coats. So we used up 4 leather, and we produced 4 hide coats. So you do produce 1 to 1. Okay. So probably uneducated people, if you're uneducated, then it doesn't matter. Okay. That's. I thought they would produce 2. They produce 1. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Well, I never actually rely too much on the clothing industry, so I really never looked at it. Look at them carry forward this little hide coat, and they are going over. Oh yeah, they change jobs so frequently that she was carrying that, and then she went ahead and carried some firewood. Yeah, they change jobs really frequently. As they change jobs as I change my mind during commentating. This is a storytelling style which is known as Alzheimer's. Really popular. Don't do it, guys. So here you can see this is a clear straight line between both the hubs, minimizing distances and allowing them to come and meet at the midpoint, which is this beautiful cemetery and this well, which they are not currently building. Right, E-French has now graduated. So let's open up another house and give that a bit of priority. We produce 10 hide coats from 10 leather. As I was saying, I don't use clothing for trading, so I really never looked at the economics of that particular aspect. Our health moved up because I think they have started getting a balanced diet in terms of vegetables, which this guy is collecting. So they are collecting onions, which count as vegetables. They are collecting berries, which count as fruits. They are getting meat from the hunting cabin because we are getting venison, really tasty venison. And the only thing that we lack currently in terms of the food groups is of course grains. We don't have grains because we start in the hard difficulty whereby you do not start with any seeds, so you cannot produce any grains. So for example, if I throw down a crop field, you can see I don't have any seeds available. If you would click over here, you would be able to see seeds. We don't have any available, so we are going to get rid of it. Look at that beautiful cemetery. Footprint is up. A lot of people are graduating. They are coming in thick and fast. So let's push up our forester. We are not going to give more than one worker for the hunter because we are going to keep it max at 1. We have plenty of food coming in, and hunters are a diminishing return. So if you get the amount of food and leather that you get with one hunter, you don't double when you put in one more hunter, and you don't triple. You definitely don't triple once you go and get ahead and make a place for another hunter. So you don't triple the amount of things that you bring in by just increasing the number of hunters. It's a diminishing return. So if you look at the graph between the number of workers and the returns, the highest point is going to be for one worker in the hunter's tent. Therefore, I am going to keep it at one particular hunter. If you have more hunters, the thing is, hunters walk in a circle, like we talked about. They walk in a circle and they do their hunting. Now, the number, and if they come in contact with a herd of deer, then there is a probability of them going ahead and doing a hunt, and it might be successful, might not be successful. Now, if you have 3 hunters, then they won't be able to successfully do 3 times the hunt as you would with one particular person in charge of the hunting lodge. Therefore, having one person in the hunting lodge is the most optimal one. Here we go. A French has moved in with Stalin, who's a student. Good. Now let's check every house. Let's go from the top. Here we don't have anybody who can get a new house because there are only students. Again, Parleton, student. Medis, student. Xavi is the next person who needs a house. And Martini is also going to need a house. Therefore, I don't need any extra houses at this particular moment. So that's why I don't have any other houses opened. We have now filled all of the jobs in the first quadrant, except the herbalist, but I am not going to open the herbalist up right now because I do need to have the one builder to do the job and another builder to be available as a laborer. Always make sure you have at least one laborer open at all points of the game, at even the very, very late game, because right now, if we didn't have a teacher, we would have 5 uneducated people who just go out there and probably they would say that, yeah, communism is probably not bad, and that is already enough to make my blood pressure high. And my blood pressure is my most precious commodity, and I don't like it to fluctuate. There we go. Storage is going up while the first storage went to 87%, and we have got this particular storage getting up. So I'm going to give it the higher priority because I need this to be built up. We won't be able to assign any herbalists because I don't think we will have anybody graduating as quickly. If they do graduate, I will have a look and make sure we get a herbalist. So in this map, because we are not going to get food through the old-fashioned ways of farming and fishing, etc., having so many large lakes is actually bad. But I decided that, hey, this map seed of 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a very interesting number. Let's see what that generates. And it generated quite a lot of flat area to grow our megalopolis, which we are going to build over here. This is going to be end to end covered. All of this flat area is going to be covered with smoke houses, and it's going to be a full chimneys belching out smoke, and we are going to convert this entire place into a production powerhouse. So our second storage hut is also up right in time when the first storage barn is getting filled up, and we don't get these annoying pop-ups, although the pop-ups are not as annoying as in Dawn of Man. Dawn of Man has the worst pop-up in the history of any game I've ever played. We are very close to hitting 200 logs for our colony. I'm going to therefore move the limit of the logs to 2000 because I always want to have an overabundance of logs. We are now going to build the cemetery. Look at that beautiful cemetery getting picked up, which will ensure that if anybody dies, we don't expect anybody to die very soon, because everybody is in their 20s and 30s. They die off when they are 70s, 80s, which is quite a long way away for us. And of course, remember that 3 years, 1 year in Banished. So right here we are in our 6th year, and everybody would have grown 3 times. So they would become aged by 18 Banished years. So this is the work being performed, the number of times they hit the place and the amount of walking they do. And this is actually standardized, and what you want to do is minimize, the only other variable is minimize the walking between getting raw materials and dropping off of production materials. That is what you want to lower. There we go. Our cemetery is built up. Therefore, you can see everybody is coming to the cemetery and having a great time. They are having a graveyard party. Meanwhile, our well is also going up, which is going to ensure that in case we have a fire, we are going to be able to protect against it. So Zavi is now an adult, so I need to open up another house, and we had recognized that Zavi will require a house. Yes, Zavi requires a house because he's a grown gatherer, and these houses that I'm building, I'm gonna make a herbalist. Let me make a herbalist, because then I still have somebody nearby to this, because then we have the work area over here and they move in to the houses over here. So that's a bit far away. We don't want that. That's why I opened up the herbalist. Let's build the well. Well takes forever to build, and also it's very, very expensive by costing 40 stone. So this is something which is going to be very expensive, but in later game we are going to become such a powerhouse in terms of production, in terms of food, in terms of tools, in terms of food, everything. We are going to be swimming in herbs, so everybody is going to have very good balanced diets. And therefore we are not going to have anything to worry about. The herbalist is up and running. Look at that beautiful herbalist camp. So what they would do is that they go to the storage, pick up a herb in case they need to get treated, and then they have to come back to the herbalist to heal. And for that you need a working herbalist, and one herbalist is more than enough. You don't want to put in 2 herbalists for the same reason that 2 of them are going to they are going to fight, and they are going to collect all the herbs far faster than the herb can regenerate. So again, herbalists 1 person, hunter 1 person. That's 1 house. That is why they are going to be always half staffed, and therefore 1 house will be able to go ahead and give labor to both of these buildings. Let's look at the walk distances by clicking this particular button. Let's look at the walk distances. There you go. This forester lodge is getting supplied very close by from these guys. Similarly, housing is right nearby. Similarly over here and over here. Everybody is very, very close by. Let's see where the teacher lives. Teacher lives nearby. Woodcutter lives nearby. The tailor lives over here, and the blacksmith lives over there. Now we can see that we have more or less plateaued in terms of food, and that is because we have got quite a lot of houses which have built up, but we have not increased the production of our food capacity. So we are going to now slowly start collecting some extra stone off the ground, and of course we are going to go moving outward. We have plenty of iron, so I'm not going to give them that task, and we are going to collect in and build up stone so that we can now once we get additional people getting educated and starting to work, we are going to start then production of the second hub, which we are all going to do for the logs. Everything is designed to maximize the log production, and food, of course, we'll have enough. Food is, of course, non-negotiable. So Zavi needed a house. Didn't I build a house? Oh, I didn't build a house. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Zavi, get a house. We have already one builder assigned, so they are going to be able to cut down the trees and cut down whatever is blocking this particular house and build this up fairly quickly. So look at that very beautiful scene right here, as well as the cemetery. These very twisted people love to come to the cemetery and check out the dead ones, and even if there are no dead ones, they just come to gawk at the empty spot which is there at the cemetery. Probably they are hoping that Stalin dies and then comes over here. Now let's get into the story. We are almost at the end of the episode. Let's pick up the story of one of our original people. So Galantis is the only guilty man in the Gulag. Who was Galantis? Galantis was a spy. Galantis was a Romanian spy who has been recruited by the Romanian Secret Service, and he has been living in the Soviet Union, speaks the language fluently with the Moscow accent. And what he did is that he volunteered for the parachute regiment, and he got in to the warehouse where they store the parachutes. And with special scissors which are supplied by the Romanian Secret Service, he cut the stitching of the parachutes. Now, if you cut those stitchings, then the parachute opens prematurely, and then the person who is in the parachute just basically falls to their death. Now, if you cut all the stitches, so there are 6 stitches which need to be cut, this particular type of special scissors that was given to him by the Romanian Secret Service cuts 5 of the 6 stitches. So the parachute, upon normal inspection, looks okay. There are no flaps hanging out, but they are going to not deploy, and therefore they are going to result in the death of this parachute regiment. And Galantis, once he got caught in the Gulag, he was actually very proud of his service, and he went ahead and bragged to everybody that he is single-handedly responsible for the death of an entire Soviet regiment somewhere out there. We don't know if those batches of parachutes were caught by inspection, because you have random inspections, and whether he got caught because somebody followed the trace, somebody did their job in the NKVD and found out that, hey, wait a minute, these things are sabotaged, and Galantis is the only guilty person in the Gulag, in our colony over here, and he has also now escaped, and now he teaches very vital skills of sabotage for our people. And we are able to camouflage and have spy ideas and spyware which we are going to build up. I see a gap over here which annoys me. Yes, there is a gap over here. So let me move everything. Or, nah, let's leave it. Let's leave it. It's all balanced. It's pretty. We've got 2 laborers who are going to now go ahead and get more stone from a little further away. Better to build up our reserves of stone while we don't have anything to be built. And we have got these laborers who can now go ahead and grab all of the stone. In the next episode, we are going to start to build the market and go into building of this second hub of, that's too much stone. So they are now going to start to move in to the second unit of production hub. So this is going to go up. The next time, this is all that we have time for in this episode. We build up, so let's do a recap. We build up additional storage. So we have got plenty of storage. We build up a blacksmith so that we have tools for everybody. We build very nice cemetery. Look at that beautiful building for which is waiting for the grave of Stalin to croak and these NKVD people to croak. We build up a well in case of emergencies because we are playing at the hardest difficulty with all calamities unlocked. And we have built up all the houses, and we gave the explanation of how the forester hub works, how the gatherer works, how the hunter works, and how the herbalist works. So we now understand essentially how to build up the perfect production forest hub. We are going to continue with this episode, and we are going to slowly unravel the secrets of each and every adult who came in and the initial batch of children who were sent to the Gulag. And trust me, there are plenty of spies. The crimes of communism are so vast that we have stories which are all there in Alexander Solzhenitsyn's The Gulag Archipelago. That it's a lifetime's read. Go ahead, read that amazing book. It's available for free online, and that is something that every school child should be taught to understand the crimes which are committed in the names of communism. So thank you for the views. This will be it, and I'm signing off and hope to see you back for more Banished. This has been the Strategic Indian, signing out.